We're going into another question. Somebody got to step it up because it's looking like a clean sweep, and it's just not that entertaining when that happens.
Chris Brady, man. They call me Chris Brady, man.
Question number 4. Okay, where we going with cold calling versus driving for dollars. Let's go with the champion again, Chris Jefferson.
Cold calling versus driving for dollars. Listen, man, who's driving these days?
Oof.
Like
Oof.
cold calling. All right, cold calling, low cost. Gas is, I don't know how much gas is. I don't pay attention. What is it, $5 now? Right? Gas is $5. They're saying gas is going to go to $6. Get on the phones. It's low cost. Get yourself a list. Get to dialing, and use your skill set that you're learning and training for to get deals closed. I'm not going to go drive for dollars right now. I don't think it's efficient. I don't think it's scalable. But that's my personal opinion.
Okay. Eric Brewer?
I'm going to go with neither. They're both trash. Cold calling is a rat race, right? Like I get 37 of those calls a day between myself and my network carrier. Nobody's getting through to me. And I actually have a few hundred properties that I would sell to someone that made me a reasonable offer. I'm just completely turned off the cold calling. I think the general population tunes out the instant they hear someone that may have called them from an auto dialer or sounds like they have the tiniest bit of an accent or they're not sure who they're talking to, right? You always got that 3-minute gap where it's like, oh, someone picked up. What's the name of the person I'm talking to? I'm out. I think they're both worthless. I'd rather you go work for someone that can afford real marketing and learn how to work those leads on inbound opportunities. And then once you save up enough money, go do some direct mail and TV.
Okay. RJ Bates, your thoughts?
I think the point here is that it depends on how you actually execute those forms of marketing, because you look at Mavro Properties, Anthony Pappas was just on Steve's podcast. They virtually drive for dollars. So they're not actually getting in the car. They're utilizing tools like Batch Driven or Deal Machine, and they're virtually driving for dollars. And then they're reaching out through other traditional means of marketing, whether that's texting, cold calling, whatever. Cold calling for us, we don't actually have our acquisitions teams do that. We're utilizing virtual assistants to do that. It's 20% of our deal flow comes from cold calling. If I had to pick between the two, I'm going to say cold calling just because it's what we actively do. But if you're a solopreneur, I do think that you could do virtual driving for dollars for cheaper.
Okay. And Steve, before you take your turn in answering, I need you to know that Tesla autopiloting for dollars does not count. This is we're speaking from the experience of actually pedal to the metal driving for dollars. So go ahead, your thoughts.
I actually got in trouble by my Tesla. I got a warning because I was trying to record my screen while I was driving, and it said that they're like, if this happens a couple more times, we're going to disable your autopilot. But anyway, so I think driving for dollars with a different spin. I think that, when you're going to an appointment, the sales guy should be going a little bit earlier. And driving around the neighborhood, seeing the ugly houses, I have a friend in town who he says his best deals comes from having his sales guys go to the appointments early, driving around the neighborhoods, looking at those ugly houses, skip tracing those guys, and yes, cold calling them. But driving for dollars to get the best list. So I think that if you're actively in the business, driving for dollars, going a little earlier is the best way to go. If you're not actively going to appointments, I think cold calling. So
okay. Any rebuttals from the panel?
Yeah, I just, look, I just want to say, I feel like I'm having a conversation, quite frankly, with it's like watching old NBA, ESPN Classic guys with shorts halfway down their leg. They're talking about, not cold calling and not doing this. Go cold call, man. Go make some money. All right.
Absolutely.
Any other thoughts before we close out the question? So you guys got a lot of time to rebuttal. It sounds like there's a little bit of scariness involved with checking each other.
Well, I think part of the issue here with this question is you're talking to a lot of people that, or 4 people here that we do a significant amount of marketing. We've all done cold calling. I think when we think about driving for dollars, though, that's not a scalable model. So the answer here is probably always going to be cold calling over driving for dollars. I mean, unless you try to, cheap out on the answer like Steve did and say, send your guy out to drive the neighborhood a couple minutes.
And then cold call him.
Right.
And then cold
right.
call.
And then
okay,
cold
thank
call.
you.
Yeah.
RJ, you could have, it's okay to say Chris is right.
Listen, you're actually losing a round. I'm hoping they'll close the damn voting. I'm trying to just end it so you lose.
There's still a few seconds, but it looks like yeah, we might have our first winner or our first other winner besides Chris. Steve in the lead with 46%. I believe the voting is closed as of right now. So Steve, congrats. You finally got a round. I don't know if you got a round last week, so this is your first one.
It's my second one. Count
So this is your second one.
the
Okay.
Give me my
Tesla
freaking
play.
trophy.
Oh,
All right.
Weasel
Jesus
greased
Christ,
the
man.
wheels.
2
with
for
the
10. 2
Tesla
for 10.
intro.
That's not bad.
Weasel, hand him over one of those participation trophies. Man.
I will. I'll print it out.